Hello everyone, and welcome to the Reddit Railway. My name is Victor, and I'll be your driver. Today's destination is r/am I the arsehole, so all aboard! I'm a high school student in a Spanish class, and we had an assignment to make a video tour of a place. It had to be in Spanish and had to be conversational, like you were showing a friend around. I decided to just walk around my street and make a tour of that because my family wasn't going anywhere else. So I filmed a neighbor's house. When I walked by, they were having a screaming fight like usual. Here are the neighbors. They are very angry. They like to yell in the morning, afternoon, and night. The next neighbor's house, Joe and Tammy live here. They are very nice and have 3 dogs. Someone drives by and catcalls me profanely. As a joke, I yell back, "Estupido perro," which means stupid dog. Then he slammed his brakes and yelled something racist before speeding off. I said to the camera, "This man is very stupid. He is a man but acts like a dog." Edit to clarify something. I'm white, but I think this idiot assumed I was Hispanic because I was speaking Spanish. I also introduced 10 other mundane things like flowers, a bird, etc. I cut out the long sequences of me walking, but I left everything else. The second part of the assignment was to upload the video on the school website and post comments back and forth responding to several of your classmates' videos. One of my friends from class recognized the racist guy as someone who volunteers with the middle school soccer team, so she texted me like, "Haha, should I say something?" And I said sure. So she posted in Spanish, "In the car is Mr. Jones, who coaches the children. I learned from your video that he hates women and is racist." I replied to say, "Does he teach the girls or the boys?" And she replied back, "Both." I replied back, "That is terrible." A guy in my class made a comment like, "The man yelling at his family is a police officer. He is always a very angry man." I replied back to say, "That is scary." The next day at school, my teacher wanted to talk to me alone. She told me that my video was inappropriate and I shouldn't have filmed the neighbors or the coach. I said that the assignment was literally to walk around a place where you're familiar with and react like you're having a conversation with a friend, and that is literally how it goes when I walk around with my friends. My teacher said I was being belligerent on purpose, and I should have known that stuff has to be dealt with delicately. I said I just don't agree. It's just life, and there's no point pretending that's not happening. She said she'd taken down the video, and it was the sort of thing that should be brought to the authorities instead of posted for the whole class. I said I didn't even know who the guy in the car was, and who was I going to call about the cop? The cops? I have a meeting with the principal coming up tomorrow. Am I the asshole for having posted that video for the Spanish class? Not the asshole. You were doing what you were instructed to do. It's not your fault the area you live in is a little rough. Like you said, there's no point pretending that's not happening. As for Mr. Jones, what a tool. At least he was kind enough to expose himself on camera. Ugh. It's always so scary to learn people like that are in positions of authority. You did the right thing, OP. If anything, you've done a public service. There is an update to this post, so let's see what happened. I had the meeting this morning. I think it went well. I have a study hall now, so I have a little time to write an update. So, last night I did a bunch of prep. Before the meeting I, 1. Emailed the video to the elementary school principal, guidance counselor, and a few parents I know with kids on the sports team to say their coach had yelled sexually explicit and hateful things at me, a student in the school system. I wanted to get out ahead and make sure the video was out there before the school might pressure me to delete it. 2. Backed up the video to multiple places. 3. Asked a teacher I trust to sit in on this meeting and record it to send to all the participants afterwards. We scheduled it for just before the school day started on Zoom, so I wouldn't miss any classes. 4. Decided to write up a list of things I wanted to discuss in the meeting and shared it with my favorite teacher in advance so she could help me address those questions. And as for the actual meeting, I decided I'd just go into it acting as if they would obviously do the right thing and ask for help. I hoped having a teacher on my side at the meeting would pressure them to help. I thought if I approached it from a, well, obviously you're going to take this seriously perspective and had it on video, it would put them in a tough spot of having to contradict me. So when I was called in and everyone said good morning, the principal asked if I knew why I'd been called in. I just started out by saying, "Yes, I assume it's about Mr. Jones. Thank you so much for calling this meeting with me. I really appreciate how proactive you are about addressing the sexual harassment from a staff member. I understand this is a mandated reported state. I wanted to ask if there was any information you need to add to your report." And the principal seemed kind of caught out and said that a report had not yet been filed. I said, Well, as I understand it, there is a 48-hour time frame to file a report. I understand making you aware of this right before the weekend might have complicated things. Perhaps there was a miscommunication about the severity of the events, but I was approached in a car, sexually harassed and threatened by a man who works with other minors in the public school system. As soon as I said all that, the meeting tone really changed. The meeting had a school guidance counselor on it, and I could tell she understood how serious what I was saying was, especially because I was politely calling out that they had already passed the legal deadline that they should have filed a report by. She actually took over and the principal didn't participate as much. I also tried to smooth things over somewhat by saying I was sorry I brought this to their attention in a school project. Instead of asking for a meeting with the principal directly, I should have reached out for help. So that's it. I'm still kind of freaking out about how big of a deal it turned out to be. Also, I wanted to say thanks to everyone who had great suggestions for how to approach this, like having an adult back me up, getting the meeting on video, and knowing about mandatory reporting. Oh, that was well done. Truly exceptional. Redirect the issue to something far more serious. Your principal would not have been expecting that, and making sure it was recorded with witnesses? Genius. I wonder if OP ended up posting the video of that meeting somewhere. If they did, I'd love to see it. Let's hope the school takes the matter seriously and gives Mr. Jones the boot. Well done, OP. You deserve an A+ for deviousness. Anyway, we've come to the end of our journey. Thank you for traveling on the Reddit Railway, and we hope to see you again soon.